Corrupt cops commit horrible crimes all the time, but sometimes the consequences of their actions come back to haunt them. Just like this first case, where a cop took the life of a man with 4 children and ended up paying for it big time.
But Officer Villarreal was required to make a split-second life and death decision.
What required him to do that? It doesn't look to me as though he was the initiator.
The fact that Mr. Herrera, first of all, he had been acting erratically before the shots were fired. He kept his hand in the front pocket of his hoodie sweatshirt. He moved from a place of relative safety on the shoulder of the road into the roadway. He was skipping
But if we're talking about Officer Villarreal, how much did he know about the prior behavior?
He saw all of that. He saw.
I looked at the dash cam from the 2 vehicles. His is the second vehicle that arrives, correct?
Correct.
So he didn't see all of it.
Well, he said that he saw Mr. Herrera on the shoulder of the roadway because he could see that before Officer Miali's car blocked his view of Mr. Herrera. So he's skipping and running backwards in the street, all the while holding his hand in his pocket.
I have to say what you're saying is inconsistent with what I saw on his own camera. That is to say, the point at which he began to get close enough to see anything. Some of that earlier stuff was on the other camera, but not on his.
Well, I don't recall at what point his camera was turned on, but he testified.
His camera was turned on well before he got to the scene.
He testified in deposition that he saw Mr. Herrera on the side of the road, and then he saw.
Well, he can testify to what he wants to testify to, but I want to tell you what I saw on his own camera tells me that the early part of this he did not see, could not see.
I understand your point, Your Honor. He certainly was able to see Mr. Herrera in the street.
The entire interaction, from the first officer's initial encounter with Herrera to the shooting, lasted less than a minute. Villarreal positioned his patrol car next to Herrera and ordered him to show his hands. Less than a second after Villarreal gave this command, he fired 2 fatal shots at Herrera as Herrera's hand emerged from his pocket.
But he had his hand in the front pocket of his hoodie. He was acting strangely. I mean, he was skipping backwards in the street. He was running backwards in the street. And then as the officers moved to box him in, the moment at which he had to make his decision, at the time that he ordered Mr. Herrera to take his hand out of his pocket or to show his hand, his intention was, once the hand was out of the pocket, assuming that Mr. Herrera had calmly stood where he was and moved his hand out of his pocket, his intention was to put Mr. Herrera into a control position, to get him down on his knees or down on his stomach on the ground so that they could take him into custody.
I hear him say, "Take your hand out of your pocket," and I hear the gunshot almost simultaneously.
Exactly.
They cannot be separated by more than a second.
And that's exactly the time period when Officer Villarreal had to make his decision. Before, he was asked in deposition, well, what were you going to do when you asked him to take his hand out of his pocket? Well, I was going to put him in a control position. That's what he intended to do.
So he's taking his hand out of his pocket.
Yes.
And as he's obeying the officer's command, he gets shot.
But it's the way that he does it, Your Honor. He didn't just stand still and take his hand calmly out of his pocket. As soon as he began to take his hand out of his pocket, he also moved quickly toward the front windshield, the front passenger window of Officer Villarreal's car, and brought his hand up in an arcing motion.
If the perpetrator was not a police officer, he would instantly be charged with murder. It's unbelievable to see how this attorney tried to defend the evil officer.
When Officer Villarreal had to decide, is he doing this peacefully? Or does he have something in his hand that could be a threat to me and is my life in danger?
Well, right.
He had a fraction of a second to make that decision.
Well, don't we have to view this in the light most favorable to the plaintiff here? I mean, and so if we do what you just said right now, offer 2 possibilities. He did it peaceably or he did it in reaction. So I'm just struggling with, in light of the standard that we have, here, Mr. Herrera was arguably complying with Officer Villarreal's order to remove his hand from his pocket at the time that he was shot. So if that is the case, How is it that we determine that we should grant?
It allows for the possibility that officers will make mistakes in judgment, and that's exactly what happened here. Officer Villarreal had a choice to make. Do I wait and see whether there's something in the hand that could kill me, or do I shoot? And he made the decision to fire. We know with the benefit of hindsight, obviously, that that was wrong.
Is it significant that Officer, is it Miali?
Miali.
Didn't fire? Chose not to
no,
fire? I mean, it
because-
seems like he had a better vantage point possibly than Mr. Villarreal.
He actually didn't, for these reasons. First of all, well, I'll answer your question directly, and then I'd like to go back to the standard. Officer Miali was facing, from his point of view, he saw Mr. Herrera's back, not Mr. Herrera's front. So he couldn't see, and he testified in his deposition that he couldn't see Mr. Herrera's hands as they were coming out of his pocket. Officer Villarreal didn't fire in the direction of anyone other than Mr. Herrera. Mr. Miali would have had to fire potentially in the direction of, in the videos you can see that there are other cars. So there are other people that could have been hit by a bullet from Officer Miali's. Aside from that, Your Honor, the standard is whether or not it was objective reasonable, whether or not every reasonable police officer faced with exactly the same circumstances that Officer Villarreal faced would have concluded that firing under those circumstances would have been a violation of the Fourth Amendment. The fact that one reasonable officer decided not to shoot, and his circumstances are slightly different, but the fact that one person decided not to shoot doesn't mean that it wasn't objectively reasonable.
The lawyer tried her best to justify the fact that the other officer held the gun back when he was actually in a better position to shoot, but she was immediately shut up by one of the judges.
You can lay these out, but we're at a very limited scope here. This is not jury redo. We have to determine based on the facts as alleged by the plaintiff. And
Right.
they're gonna say, no, it was, he simply had his hand in his pocket and these officers were coming up on him really strong. They created the tension. They rose the adrenaline, not him. You have to lay out, take their facts, not the facts as you want. You gotta stick with their facts and explain why under their facts, you win as a matter of law.
I agree, Your Honor.
And right now we're talking about your facts.
As long as
Stick with theirs.
As long as the historic facts are undisputed, the question of whether or not Officer Villarreal's actions were reasonable is a question of law. It's not a question that you give to a jury, because we don't want juries second guessing the very, very difficult life and death decisions that officers have to make.
We have to accept their version of the facts. So you need to explain under their versions of the facts why as a matter of law you win.
Under their version of the facts,
Yes.
nobody disputes that Mr. Herrera was acting erratically. No one disputes that he was skipping backwards in the street. That's very strange behavior. Nobody disputes that it was almost simultaneous when Officer Villarreal directed or ordered Mr. Herrera to remove his hand from his pocket, that he started moving toward Officer Villarreal's car, and that he had his hand going up in an arcing motion. That's on the video. That's undisputable.
So if we take those facts, you're
Yes.
saying that as a matter of law, the shooting here was legal.
Yes,
Those
it was,
three facts.
it was objectively reasonable.
Police officers are one of the only professions in the world where you can make the mistake of killing someone, use that as an excuse, and still keep your job and avoid prison time. But fortunately, in this case, things went a different way.
The things that they observed heightened the situation to a point where it was objectively reasonable for the officers. Nobody disputes that, for example, that it wasn't objectively reasonable for the officers to have their guns out. They were going to do a felony stop. Domestic violence under California law is a felony. So they had their guns out. There's some question about whether or not there were other alternatives available. Well, in the split second that decision had to be made, you couldn't put the gun down and pick up a baton. You couldn't put the gun down and pick up a taser, assuming that Officer Villarreal even had a taser. I think there's testimony in the record that he didn't have a taser available to him. He had to make a decision based solely on what he knew at the time. And it's easy for us to sit in hindsight and say, well, Mr. Herrera didn't have a gun. Mr. Herrera didn't really pose any
I don't think
threat.
anyone here said that.
The standard of review on qualified immunity, again, it allows for reasonable mistakes. And as long as the mistake was objectively reasonable, then Officer Villarreal is entitled to qualified immunity. I'd like to reserve the balance of my time.
Let's hear from the other side, and you will have some time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dale Gallipo, and I'm representing or speaking on behalf of the appellees and the plaintiffs in the underlying case. I think the comment made, a lot of the arguments we believe they're being made here are more appropriate for a jury. Because in this case, there are a host of undisputed facts that we actually think favor the finding of the district court judge.
When we look at what's undisputed, Mr. Herrera, and I think you could say suspiciously, kept his hand in his pocket, and that the officers perceived a heavy object in that pocket. That's...
First part, yes. Second part, a little less clear. But I think there's no question that he had his hand in his pocket.
Well, and both officers said it looked like he had something heavy in his pocket.
Okay.
All right. And then just before Mr. Vial opened fire, Mr. Herrera rapidly removed his hand and moved quickly, it seemed like, toward the officer's car.
As the officer's lawyer took time out, the judge tried to question Mr. Herrera's position. But the more they talked about it, the stronger the argument became.
No information that any weapon was involved in a crime. They were specifically told he was not known to carry weapons. He responded to a command. He was given a command. He has a hand in his pocket, and he was giving a command to show his hands or take his hand out of his pocket. The officer was asked, "What was your intention?" "I wanted him to take his hand out of his pocket." One reasonable inference again is he took his hand out of his pocket in compliance with the command of the officer. When he took his hand out of his pocket, he had nothing in his hand. Another reasonable inference is that the officer could see that he had nothing in his hand before he fired his shots.
And what do you say in response to opposing counsels that he's entitled to make a reasonable mistake?
Defense would argue that an officer is entitled to a reasonable mistake, and that's the end of the analysis. I think for purposes here, one has to look at the facts supporting the plaintiff's version and then decide whether one can say as a matter of law that the shooting is justified. Under our version, both hands were visible and he had nothing in his hands and he was shot twice and killed. We specifically asked the officers about their training, and they conceded, which is included in the cites in our brief, that deadly force is a last resort, only to be used in the direst of circumstances, only when no other reasonable measures are available, and that a warning that deadly force is going to be used should be given when practical.
When the other lawyer came back, something in her was different, and her points went from irrelevant to completely absurd.
Juries should not be put in a position of second guessing whether or not an officer acted in a reasonable manner or not. The only province of the jury is to decide the undisputed facts, and I would submit that we don't really have any material undisputed facts in this case. We can see what happened on the video.
Counsel, we have jury trials on this all the time, and the police officer will bring in their use of force expert, and Mr. Gallipo will bring in his use of force expert to talk about what should have happened. I mean, juries do make determinations.
But they're not making determinations on qualified immunity, and that's the only issue in this appeal, qualified immunity, and whether or not the actions of Officer Villarreal were objectively reasonable in light of all of the circumstances.
You said something that confused me. The jury does not get to decide qualified immunity?
Qualified immunity is a question of law for the court.
And at trial, the jury cannot say to your officer, you're off the hook because you have qualified immunity? That can't be right.
It's my understanding that the application of qualified immunity is a question of law.
Well, it is a question of law on undisputed facts or facts taken in favor of the other side. But I've never understood it to be outside the province of the jury when it goes to trial.
Well,
to say that the officer does not have qualified immunity.
The jury has to decide the underlying predicate facts.
I understand that, but I think I'm arguing on your point. If we send this back, I don't think you want to say qualified immunity is no longer available to you at trial.
Absolutely not.
Well, I think that's what you just said. That's why I'm speaking up.
That was not my intention at all. And if the jury were to return a verdict against Officer Villarreal, I think that he would have the opportunity to file a motion for a judgment notwithstanding the verdict on qualified immunity.
Everything goes bad for your client. That is to say, if we send it back, if the jury says no qualified immunity, and if the jury comes in with an award of some amount of damages, Will your client pay those damages out of his own pocket, or will it be paid by his employer?
It should be 99.9% of the times it's paid by the employer. I don't see why it would be different.
Well, by
in
statute,
this-
California statute says it's paid by the employer unless they're punitives.
Yes,
Isn't that right?
that was what I was going to say.
So that doesn't say 99%, it says 100.
Well, I was going to say, unless there were, if
Unless they're
if
punitives.
there were punitive damages, the city would have the option of deciding whether to pay those punitives. My understanding is that
At that point, I got the answer. Right. At that point, I think the employer has the option. Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counsel.
It was ruled that Villarreal could not reasonably claim self-defense, as he shot Herrera less than a second after ordering him to show his hands, which the court found to be excessive force. If you think this officer had it bad, then wait until you see the next officers. Although they didn't get fired, they were completely owned by the people they were trying to harass.
So that's what I'm investigating. So again, you got your ID on you.
No, it's not illegal.
So I gotta make
I didn't break any laws.
On May 13th, 2023, Deputy Hudson and another officer from the Sussex County Sheriff's Office pulled over a local landowner named Robert Huffman near his property in Sussex County, Virginia. The officer started to impinge upon Robert's rights, but the way he shut the officers up is worth watching.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
I was doing fine. What's the problem?
I got a shooting range or something over there.
My property.
Yeah. I ain't coming to your attitude. I'm filing a complaint that somebody filed.
Okay.
Do you have a shooting range over there and everything?
No, just my property.
That's your property?
Yeah.
Okay, so people currently shooting over there now?
What's going on?
So we get a call of shots fired in the area.
They were in the county. Yeah.
Listen, anytime shots fired in the area, you got the ID on you, sir?
I haven't committed a crime.
Right now, there's an investigation going on, sir, for
Watch
shots
yourself,
fired in
man.
the area, and I need to know who I made contact with.
I haven't committed a
Deputy
crime.
Hudson with Sussex Sheriff. I identify myself.
I haven't committed a crime.
Sir, what's your name?
I haven't committed a crime.
What's your name, sir?
My name's Rob. It's a pleasure to
Robert.
meet you, Hudson.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How long you live up there or just land?
Just land.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so originally called is shots fired in the area. Anytime shots fired in the area, we got to come. If it's hunting, hunting time, we get a lot of calls. So
Okay.
we have to investigate because we don't know what's going on. I don't know that there's land back there. I don't know that that it belongs to you. I don't know that you shooting back there or whatever. I don't know that stuff. So I have to investigate. When a citizen calls, we have to investigate.
Okay.
So that's what I'm investigating. So again, you got your ID on you.
No, it's not
So
illegal.
I gotta make
I didn't break any laws.
Yeah, so we got to call a red truck that shots fired in the area.
Okay.
So again, I'm investigating. It's an ongoing investigation. So do
What
you
crime?
have shots fired in the area?
That's a crime?
Yes,
In
sir.
the county?
Ran the roadway and the houses in the area.
Oh,
Yes,
no,
sir.
no, it was never any.
Okay,
never-
I don't know that yet.
that's
I
not
haven't went
true.
back. The only thing I got is a red truck. So
I'm
again, I have to make.
I'm just gonna exercise my Fifth Amendment right.
The longer those deputies talked, the dumber they looked. After a while, you just start feeling embarrassed about the fact that they're even allowed in law enforcement.
I don't consent to any searches or seizures.
I'm not searching this. I need to know. Do you have your ID on you? I need to know who I made contact with, sir.
I haven't broken a law. Can you articulate a law that I've broken?
Right now, you must identify yourself, sir, because I have made contact and there's an
I haven't
ongoing
broken a
investigation.
law. I'm exercising my Fifth Amendment right.
So
I'm
you
not
refuse.
answering
So
any
now
questions.
you're refusing to identify yourself to me.
You haven't articulated a crime.
Is an ongoing investigation of shots
What's the
fired in the
crime?
area, sir.
That's not a crime. It's in the county.
You're missing the whole
I
point, sir.
am not giving up my Fifth Amendment right.
So
You're not
that
gonna
land-
violate
that
my
land
Fourth
belongs to
Amendment
you.
right.
That land belongs to you.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any backstops behind any shooting that's going on back there?
I'm not going to answer any questions.
This
What
is
about
my
the
question.
First, second, or third.
All right.
I bet you don't.
If you want to assert your rights, I have no problem with
I'm
that.
being
Okay.
illegally detained at this point.
Okay. Well, we're in the middle of an investigation.
Of
okay?
what crime? It's not a crime. You can't even articulate a crime. I have no obligation to assist you in your investigation. You know?
Okay. So my question to you is this: you want to ask me a bunch of questions, but you don't want to answer any of my questions.
Yeah, that's
Why
your
are you being
job.
difficult?
I'm a citizen in America, and we have the Constitution. I know
Okay.
y'all don't
But that doesn't
believe in
answer
that
why
anymore.
why you're being so difficult.
I don't have to answer any of your questions, officer. I have
Okay.
a Fifth
I
Amendment
just
to
want
the
to know what your
Constitution.
issue is. Why you don't want to talk to us?
I
That's
don't
my
like
question.
police. I'm sorry. I think
Okay.
you guys are tyrants.
Okay.
Yeah. If y'all actually upheld the Constitution like you swore an oath to do, then yeah, I would answer questions. But y'all don't do that anymore. You're tyrants anymore.
This officer was beyond ignorant. It's unbelievable that people like these are supposed to protect our rights when they don't even understand them.
I know y'all are sitting here wanting to ID me and violating my constitutional rights.
Okay, but getting your ID is not violating your
Yes,
rights.
it certainly is. That's the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution.
And how?
How is it?
Yeah.
Because I don't have to have any searches or seizures. You can't search or seize anything unless I've been suspected of a crime.
Okay.
Am I suspected of a crime?
I'll leave that up to my partner, sir.
There you go. You got to articulate a crime, and I'd be happy to ID myself if you can articulate a crime that I've broken or done something wrong.
Okay. Well, technically we have enough to stop you for the incident that we're investigating, and technically, if you want to get into the aspects of the law, you're just driving down the road. We have a right to see your driver's license registration. There's
No.
Supreme Court case law on that.
Yeah, if I violated the law.
Okay.
What's the law? What's the law that I violated?
Operating a vehicle on the roads of the Commonwealth.
That's against the law?
It's not against the law.
Well, then what
But
the fuck do you need my ID
once
for?
you've been,
Am I free to leave?
So this is the rule. I'm gonna print out the laws of Sussex County. I'm gonna put it on that fence. It is regulations that have to follow. We are gonna report it. They are gonna come and investigate your area that you're shooting over there. Again, I'm gonna take a picture. I'll body camera right here.
I don't want you to trespass on my property.
Listen, sir.
Okay.
Again, shots was fired in their area. Their homes right there. You can't shoot within a certain feet of the homes. So if y'all are in violation of that, you will be charged. Okay?
There's still no crime.
Yes, it is a crime. You can't shoot within certain feet of a home, sir.
How many feet was I in?
You're good to go, sir. Have a
All
good
right,
day.
thank you. Y'all take care. Stay safe.
After letting Robert go, the officers arrived at his property, where Robert's father, Michael Huffman, was hanging out with Robert's permission. As you would expect, their interaction did not go smoothly.
How you doing? My name is Deputy Hudson with the Sussex Sheriff Listen, sir. My name is Deputy Hudson with the Sussex Sheriff Department, sir. We got a complaint from a neighbor right here, and right here.
Y'all
To
can fucking get over it. We out here. We're 200 yards from anything near us, and we're firing into the ground.
You gonna let me talk, or you gonna finish?
I'm gonna finish. You are trespassing. You are not allowed on this property. The gate was closed.
Sir, you got your ID on you?
I don't have to give you ID.
Sir,
The Constitution says I don't have to give you an ID unless I have broken a law.
sir.
6-3 Sussex, got a gang tag for you. Go ahead.
We're in here
Do
firing.
y'all own this residence right here, sir?
Yes.
Who owns it?
My son and I own
Okay, what's your name?
it. Again,
I don't know if you trespass or not. What's your name, sir?
my name is...
Your son's on it.
We are family.
Okay, so did he give you permission to come out here?
You just pulled him over.
I don't know.
No, you pulled him over 5 minutes ago.
Sir, did he give you permission to be out here?
Yes, he has, but I have permission. You don't get to my property.
So he gave you permission to be out here, sir?
Yes.
Can you call him and he can tell you that he gave you
You
permission?
just pulled him over.
Did he give you permission to be
Did
out
you
here, sir?
or did you not pull
Sir,
him
did
over?
he
Not
give
5
permission?
minutes
No,
ago.
he didn't identify himself. I don't know who he is. Did he give you permission to be out here, sir?
I have permission to be
Can
on
you
my
call-
own property.
Can you call and verify that he gave you permission?
He's being an
I'm not, sir. I'm trying to figure out that this is the people that's supposed to be out here.
This tyrant thinks you are guilty until proven innocent. How can someone be trespassed if nobody asked them to leave? He didn't even have enough intelligence to consider that possibility.
So calm down, sir. You need a medic?
Hey, I've got this cops here trespassing on our truck on our property. Wants to know whether or not I have permission to be here. Can you tell them I'm so bad? And I've been telling him the same thing. to
So
get
who's
fuck
the
off
owner of the property?
He is.
What's
Get
his
the
name?
f- off my property.
What's his name, sir?
Get the f- off my property.
So are you the owner or he the owner?
Our family owns this property. Our family owns this property.
What is
Get
your
the
family name, sir?
I've told you that 3 goddamn
You got
times.
your ID on you?
No, that's it. I ain't dealing with it. Get off your property.
You have your ID on you, sir?
For him.
So we're trying to figure out who property this belongs because it looks like some
I've
abandoned
told you
property.
5 goddamn
Do you have your
times
ID
you
on you, sir?
I don't need an ID.
Okay, so sir, maybe I can talk to you. This is where it goes. You got a second? We don't know who owns this property. We got people call here and say shots fired over here. This property is technically abandoned. So before I leave, I have to put something in the computer that I talked to such and such and this is who belongs to. If this is your property, you're not here. Somebody comes over here and shooting on your property. I don't do anything about it. How are you gonna feel?
Hey, please.
Sir, I can't leave right now because of the open investigation.
You're trespassing.
Sir, you might want to calm down before you go to jail, sir.
Get the hell off my property.
Sir, turn around, put your hands behind your back. Turn around, put your hands behind your back for destruction and not cooperating with law enforcement.
Stop a minute.
No, sir. I done. No, he's not gonna curse me out. I haven't been disrespectful.
All right, wait a minute. Stop.
No, sir.
I have a
No,
weapon.
sir.
I have a weapon in my pocket.
That's fine. That's fine, sir.
Okay, it's unloaded weapon in my pocket right here.
Right here. Here you go.
This stupid bastard has put me in handcuffs.
You don't need to get this.
There you go. 740 suspect. Show one in custody. Come on, sir. I'm gonna read you your rights. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say will or can be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to talk to a lawyer, have him or present with you while you are being questioned.
The dumb cop not only harassed the poor father, but also arrested him for speaking up. It's like he wanted him to act up so he could put him in cuffs. Absolutely disgraceful.
You got your ID on you, sir.
Doesn't matter whether I got ID. You're not getting it until you prove to me that I've done something illegal. What have I done illegal?
First, you refuse to cooperate. You refuse to give me...
No, I refuse because you were trespassing on private property. You were trespassing.
You got
on
anything in your
private-
power gonna poke me, stick me, or hurt me?
I don't know.
Okay. If I hurt myself, you will be charged.
Nothing unusual.
Okay.
You're ignorant.
Yes, sir.
Where to God you are. Do not open that. No, no, sir. You have no right to open that. I don't want to stand here all day. I have a bad heart. You're with me. These are. Instead of taking care of the property of people down there setting fire and trespassing, they want to trespass.
7-4.
Virginia Orwell, Tango 6.
Unlawful arrest, retaliation, deprivation of rights. This cop went all in, and yet he was standing there proud of what he had done.
Can't believe y'all are trespassing.
Any fellas. At this point, we don't know who the land belongs to.
We're just trying to investigate a complaint, sir. That's all we're trying to do, okay?
Well, then why didn't you investigate the complaint last week when they come in here and burn our
We're not
woods
talking
and burn our
about
We're
property?
talking about today, sir.
We're talking about today, sir. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's how we gotta do it sometimes, all right? You take a hand and we turn it the other way. That way it won't hurt your wrist as much, okay?
Whatever. I can't see what you're doing.
Okay. Take a hand and turn it this way so the top of your hands together. That way it won't hurt your wrist as much, okay?
Once you take the off, I ain't going nowhere.
That's up to my partner here, sir. All right? He's gonna charge you with obstruction or not, okay?
Now again, who owns the land?
My son and our family.
Who physically on the paperwork?
Rob. My
Okay,
son.
long as Rob said, hey, you got permission.
You just heard him. You talked to him.
I don't
on the
know if
phone.
that's Rob. I don't physically know him. Failure to cooperate with law enforcement, failure to give you information. You have a, come on. No,
Get
come
my
on,
car.
sir.
Get my car.
Right.
Give him the rest.
on,
Give
hop on
him
this
the rest
side.
of my stuff. Give him my billfold. And
You got your ID on you, sir? Okay, all right.
Give him everything. Keys, everything. Take my revolver and put it away too, son.
Come on, sir.
You're just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been shooting too. 308? No, that's 9mm. Tinker toy.
All right, stand right here for a second, sir.
You can tell that this officer wanted to get back at Robert for not identifying himself because his tiny ego couldn't handle someone who stands up for his rights and doesn't bow down to his commands.
This is my question, Mr. Huffman. Are you ready to talk yet?
About what?
The property. This is the thing.
Like I said, my son's wife was raised in that trailer
And
right there
listen,
all of her life. And
So
I tried to explain it to him.
But did you give me your ID? We had to basically go through this whole process. So check this out. Somebody comes out here and shoot on your property, right? I come out here, I say, hey, why are you shooting out here? This is my property. I let them go. You call the police and say, hey, somebody was shooting out there. Guess what? I don't have their ID. I don't have the information, so now I'm not able to identify that it was on your property.
Whatever happened to you not trespassing on the property?
We got a call and we have to follow through. You the owner of this property?
I'm not answering any questions.
Okay, sir. Well, I don't know if you're the owner of the property. Please step back away from me, sir.
Trespassing.
So, are you the owner of this property?
Trespassing.
Are you the owner of this
You're
property?
the only one trespassing.
Are you the owner of this property?
You're the only one
Are you the owner of this property,
I'm
sir?
not answering any of your
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, so you're going to arrest my father because y'all are trespassing on my
Sir, are you the owner of this property, sir?
I'm not answering any
Do you have your ID on you, sir?
I'm not answering any
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to leave, sir, if you're not the owner of this property.
Okay, I'm the owner of the property.
Okay, then do you have your ID so I can identify that you're the owner of the property?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to leave, sir.
No, I'm asking you to leave. How
No.
are you going to kick me off my property?
Because you're not identifying yourself that
I
you're the
don't
owner of this
have to.
property. That's fine,
I
sir.
don't have
So I'm going to ask
to.
you to get in your truck and leave, sir.
No, I'm asking you to leave.
No, are you the owner of this property?
I have no signs right
Are-
there.
are you the owner of this property?
I told y'all not to come on my
Are
property.
you the
and
owner of
you're
this property,
trespassing.
sir?
I want to see your supervisor.
Are you the owner of this property? Are you the owner of the property? So at this time, sir, if you're not willing to identify yourself, I'm going to ask you to leave, sir.
There is no obligation to show ID or to prove you own the property. They have to prove you don't have the right to be there. But as we have already established, Officer Hudson did not have the mental faculties to have such sensible thoughts.
Leave, sir.
Supervisor, Hudson.
Okay, turn around, put your hands behind your back, sir. Thank you.
I want to see your supervisor. Jared, will you hold this camera? Hold it up.
Right now, it's for evidence. Right now, it's his property, so I'm going to hold on to it.
Do you have
Turn
a
around,
warrant?
put
Do you
it-
have a warrant?
I'm
for my
holding on to
property?
your property right now, sir.
Video
Can you-
record everything.
Can you
They're
put?
tyrants.
I'm gonna take
They're
your.
breaking the law.
Listen,
right
sir, I'm
now.
gonna take your
You're
watch off
violating my
because I
rights.
can't put your handcuffs on. Okay.
Violating my rights. You're violating my rights. What's your name? Dominic? I told y'all not to come on my property. I told y'all not to come on my property.
Please comply with these verbal orders.
I told y'all not to
Put
come
your
on my
hand back.
property. I told you not to come on my property. How are you, so what are you arresting me for? Trespassing?
Right now, you're being detained, sir.
For
So we can identify
trespassing?
you, sir. No, I'm
For
not. No,
trespassing?
sir.
So
Why
how
we got
about-
him?
Are you?
Do you have any weapons on you? That's
Yes, I do.
What
I
you
have a
have?
9mm Glock on my right side.
Okay. I'm gonna take it off your right side. Okay.
Come here and videotape these guys.
Stand right here, sir, and stop.
Lean against the car for me, please.
Stand right here, sir.
Stand right there and relax, okay?
Don't muzzle flash.
Stand right here, sir.
You don't know how to use
Stand right here, sir, and calm down.
Please.
Calm down.
Please calm down.
Calm down. Turn around.
But you're not-
You're moving
not
back,
being
sir.
compliant, sir.
You're not being
not being
compliant.
compliant.
I'm
Okay.
complying. You muzzle flash me. Y'all don't know how to use firearms? You fucking pointed that gun at me.
Sir, stop cursing me
It's
before you
lo-
receive a
I
charge.
have the freedom of speech.
No, you
okay?
don't.
I don't have the freedom of speech on my property. Video record this, Alec, Jared.
You got anything on you that's gonna poke me, stick me, or hurt me, sir?
Yeah, I got these nuts in your mouth.
Okay, sir.
I hope your mom's proud of you, you fucking tyrant.
An auditor is a cop's worst nightmare because they expose their crimes that they have been committing on a regular basis, just like this next one.
City administration. Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How can I help you?
What office is this?
I'm the city administrator.
You're the city administrator? Well, you're a public official, obviously. You're the city
I'm not
administrator.
elected. And
That wouldn't matter.
Yes, it does.
That
If
you're
you
not
go to our
elected.
doors,
Yeah,
I am not elected.
but that doesn't matter. You still work
If
for
you
the
go to our
government.
doors,
Still work
you
for the
will
public.
I'm not escorting.
Oh, I don't
I'm
think
just
you are.
talking, but they got to sign up. Can't record inside the building here.
That sign is unconstitutional, sir. I'm an independent journalist. So I have freedom of
Okay,
press.
but the problem is, state law, you can't. They got to sign up unless they give you permission to come in City Hall. And
Yeah.
you have to go
Well, I
through
have
the right
business. I
channels.
have business to conduct here as well as my business of exercising my freedom of press. I'm working on a story on the City Hall
Here,
for
let's go over
transparency
here
and accountability.
talk. Come on.
This is Ruth Siaba Green, city administrator of Berwyn. Her husband David Green, the division commander, has been previously sued multiple times, costing taxpayers over $80,000 in settlements. He is still being promoted because his wife is the city administrator.
Purpose? Why are you here?
So
You
my
have a
pur-
business
my
now
pur-
that you just videotape
So
it?
my purpose here, I explained it to the detective and this officer. My purpose here is to, I'm working on a story, freedom of press. I'm exercising my freedom of press rights. Freedom of press rights. I'm an independent journalist, and also I'm conducting business as far as doing a Freedom of Information
You got
Act.
a journalist kind of card or something?
A journalist card? No, I didn't
Don't
make
press
myself
people
one.
have press cards and stuff?
I mean, I could make myself one, but the Constitution gives me the right of freedom of press. You know, it's
So
not
how
just
long
journalists.
Are you gonna be here? How
Until my story is done.
Could you give me an estimate?
Depends on how long I need to do a Freedom of Information Act request.
Even after explaining it multiple times, officers were still annoyingly asking him about his purpose and why he does this.
What's your name?
Oh, I'm not going to give my name, but
Why?
I just choose not to.
Here's my name, Sergeant Valenti.
Sergeant Valenti.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, why won't you give me your name?
I just don't have to.
Okay.
That's all.
Trying to be polite.
Yeah. The public building. Why would anybody
Some
care?
people just don't like to be recorded for no reason.
I mean, there's cameras all over the place.
These cops were treating him like he broke into their house. Some government employees didn't want to be recorded, so they walked him out of the building.
Yeah, sure.
What other places, what other city halls have you been to?
Oh, a bunch.
Like what's a bunch?
Just ones around here. I never saw that statute before. That's interesting.
It's up there, so.
Yeah, I would thank you for looking it up for me.
This idiot cop was unable to read the poster and even Googled it to understand. What are these dumb cops doing in these positions?
All right, well, seems like everybody's leaving. Hey, Detective, I'm not being detained, am I?
Right now, just hang on a minute.
Am I being detained, sir?
Both of these officers were trying to figure out something they did not know. It looked like nothing but a waste of time.
How about I try and grab his phone out of his hands, and let's see what you do.
You need to put your hand down.
Sir, there's no need for it.
You just saw him. It's on camera. You can't. You just saw what he did. Come on, man. That's not cool. Am I being detained, sir?
Right now, until we get this sorted out.
Yes?
We're talking. We're talking.
If I'm not being detained, I'm going to go back inside and finish my business.
You can't go back inside there.
So I'm being detained.
There's no recording in there.
So I'm being detained.
So, yes, you are right now.
I'm being detained.
Until we sort this matter out.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes.
Unlawful. This is an unlawful detainment. That's what it is.
As the officers were at their best trying to stop him from going inside the building, Officer Monaco tried to grab his camera and detained him until they found any lawful reason to arrest him.
You just said it, not me.
Stopping you from going back inside.
Yeah, you just said I'm being detained. You said yes. Right now, your words were right now I'm being detained. Exactly. That's what you just said. Investigation of what crime?
Okay.
What crime do you suspect me of committing?
Sorting this out. Who do you work for that? You said you're...
I'm not talking to you anymore. You're a tyrant. You grab my phone. You put your hands on me. Don't ever do that again. That's that thin blue line, right? Where you guys just back each other up, no matter what. If I try to take your phone right now, just think about it logically. If I try to take your phone or do something or touch you in any way.
I didn't take your phone. I was moving it out of my face.
You're moving it out of your face.
Yeah, because I don't want you recording.
Well, I am. So, don't you see I'm still recording you? I'm still recording you, and I'm not going to stop recording you.
And I'm giving you the respect. That's why I'm not moving.
Respect is not touching me, no.
Okay.
No, that's not respect. That's not respect.
Monaco was a pathological liar, immediately backing off from what he just said. These officers don't even have a single reason to stop him outside. They were harassing Sean in the name of investigation.
Well, I can't move because I'm detained, so I'll stay right here.
What other business did you have inside?
I wanted to.
Curiosity.
I don't want to talk to you guys anymore. I'm gonna remain silent. I'm not gonna answer any more questions. I'm being detained at this point, so.
So, state statute reads you can't video record private conversations.
Finally, these retards, after this long time, came up with something to handcuff Sean. Let's find out.
You can keep the phone.
May I have your other hand, please?
All right, you told me I can keep the phone.
What do you think, bro?
I don't want it to stop recording.
Okay.
I don't want it to stop recording. Why are you saying
You're a big boy.
Will be Charles Union 12590.
This is ridiculous.
Where you at?
Set up to keep my phone in my hand.
For right now.
I just took it out of his hand because I don't want him to drop it.
You put it in your pocket there.
And here they arrested him for doing nothing unlawful and illegal. They don't care. The people will pay the lawsuit, and these corrupt officers will be promoted.
Take them down. Take them down.
I know.
I would like you to take those down too, if you could. That would be awesome. You know you can. You gotta go to those are against the Lord.
Wait, let's get him.
Governor
Let's go. He's taking down at least those. Take them down.
It's not your king.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. One more. Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Woo!
After all this went viral, the mayor arrived at that building just to show his fake patriotic image by taking 2 posters off the door. We as citizens absolutely convey the power. Once we give it to others, we have to be careful how they use it. Now watch how this man gets treated by troops for getting a FOIA request.
Stop pushing me. I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to get in the building.
You can't come in the building. You have no business here.
I do have business here. Stop acting like a savage.
Here, Sean recounts an incident where he visited the Connecticut Police Department and was dealt with in this manner.
So how are you?
Hey, how are you?
You already told me you didn't have anything here.
Oh yeah, I just got to do some FOIA requests and things
Some
of that nature. A FOIA request for your body camera footage and Sergeant Brian Fahey's disciplinary records.
You can have it. Send it in writing.
Yeah.
Who's the guy behind you that
I have to conduct business here, Sergeant.
Sir, what can we do for you? Come on.
Oh, you're the sergeant of pistol permits, aren't you?
Come on.
Go ahead, come on in, sir.
Sir,
excuse me, sir. You have to get out of the way.
Sir, I know your inclination is wanting to assault me, Sergeant. Stop pushing me. I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to get in the building. You can't come in the building.
You have no business here.
I do have business here. Stop acting like a savage. What are you doing?
Before I arrest you.
As he tells the officer that he is here to have a FOIA request, Sergeant Brian Fahey instantly comes and ignores his appeal and tries to shut the door aggressively.
Back up
Take
before
my phone
I arrest
again.
you.
I have other
Back up before I arrest you. Back
Her
up.
body camera's on.
That's fine. Get
You
away
like
from
to
the
do
door.
things in
You
front of
don't
people's
need to
body
block the
camera.
door. Don't block the door.
No one's scared of you, Sergeant.
I didn't say you were. Don't
I'm not
block the
scared of
door.
you.
Don't block
I'm
the
not
door.
scared of you.
Don't
Sir.
block
I'm not
the
scared of
door.
you.
Just
Don't
back up.
block the door. Don't block the door.
Yeah, I'm not scared of you.
Don't lock the door.
Do what you gotta do.
Don't block the door.
Do what you gotta do, because I'm not scared of you, Sergeant. I'm allowed to come into this building.
The guy goes head to head with the sergeant and doesn't get scared by his threats. He bravely took the stand for his right.
Correct. Thank you.
Sergeant Brian Fahey just took my camera yet again. The coward that he is. He just took my camera yet again and stopped it from recording. But the officer that talked to us in the parking lot, her body camera was recording. We're gonna make another internal affairs complaint on him. This is incredible. Right, exactly. It happened right over here, ladies and gentlemen. Right over here. Right here, right where we're standing. Look at him. Just witnessed somebody get assaulted and their property taken from them and not do anything about it, Trooper. Is that standard operating procedure? Because there's the criminal right there in front of you. If you'd like to place him under arrest, Trooper. He just assaulted me and took my property and violated my First Amendment right. But no, these troopers aren't going to do anything about that, right?
Here the guy appeals to another trooper passing by him who acted like there was no one talking to him and muted the body cam of the other officer so that the truth remains silent.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Anything in your pockets, go ahead and take out. So
Sure.
Keys, wallet, put right over here.
Is Sergeant Brian Fahey one of those important people that's in this building, ma'am? The one that you just saw assault me and didn't do anything about it as a law enforcement officer? Why are you so mad, Sergeant?
I'm not mad. I hope you have a great day.
Oh yeah, after you assaulted me, right?
I didn't assault
Yes, you did. You did it last time. You did it again. Because you're scared. You wouldn't do it without a uniform.
Because I'm what?
You're scared.
Oh,
you
yeah.
wouldn't do it without that gun on your hip and that badge.
You wouldn't do it without that
You
phone?
wouldn't do it. Let's take them all off, right? You just watched a man assault me and grab my camera, interfering with a constitutionally protected activity. You're a law enforcement officer who took an oath to uphold the Constitution. Are you going to do anything about that?
I saw you get in his face as well, so I did see.
So
both
you
sides.
saw me
And
get.
You saw it on body camera.
Yeah, the body camera. We'll get the body camera. That's for sure.
You can see that you.
But you were
physically
there.
Stopped him trying to get you from entering.
I'm allowed to enter into the building.
He told you to get a report, right?
He told me to submit something in writing.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have a right to be here.
They told you,
But I have a right to come in here and conduct business. He has no right to put their hands. He has no right to put his hands on me.
At last, he gets allowed in the building, but still Sergeant Brian Fahey's attitude was visible on his face. They do all this when they have that gun and badge with them.
Did you watch him put his hands on me or not? Did he put his hands on me or
Legal
not?
did not tell us that you had anything.
Did he
to do
put his
until
hands on
they
me or
came
not?
After, and then they let you in.
Ma'am, did he put his hands on me or not?
Once I saw you do what you did,
What did I do?
when you physically tried to stop him open the door.
I tried to come inside the building because I'm allowed to. Just like I'm
Not
inside the
without
building
an
right now.
appointment.
I'm
And
inside the
legal
building.
is talking to you because they requested you to come
So-
in. If you didn't have an appointment,
I just want to know. Listen, I'm going to be on my way. I'm going to be on my way. The damage is. I was already assaulted. Did you watch? You watched him assault me. Are you going to do anything about it? Yes or no?
The video.
Are you going to do anything about
You
it?
can see the video.
Then you're going to be held accountable. Are you going to do anything about it? Yes or no?
Look how this officer keeps ignoring everything that happened in front of her eyes, just to defend a corrupt maniac of their department. In the next case, Sean is back, and this time, he has the whole PD called on him.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
He was visiting the Nassau County office building in Mineola, New York, and it all started with a minor disagreement.
I don't have a driver's
You have any
license.
picture ID in you?
No, I don't have
Can't let
picture
you in
ID.
without picture ID. You gotta have something with a picture ID. Hi.
But this is a government building, ma'am. Why would I need picture ID to come into a government building?
Because
I don't need picture ID even to vote. Why? Doesn't that seem silly? You could vote for the president of the United States without a picture ID, but I can't come see a county clerk without picture
you
ID?
gotta scan you in.
You could just write my name down.
What are you here for?
I need to see the county clerk.
About what?
I need to do an open records request. I'm a journalist.
All right, just stand over there. Hold on a second.
It's important to note that there is no law on presenting an ID before entering a federal building.
What is your name?
Ben?
Yeah.
Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin.
Correct.
What's your date of birth, Ben?
Why do you need my date of birth?
What is your date of birth? Do you want to come in this building?
Yeah, I have business to conduct, ma'am. I just don't see why this is not Nazi Germany. I don't see why I would need to give.
Date of birth, I need your address.
Phone away, please. You're not allowed to video or tape.
I'm sorry?
Please put it away.
Why
I'm
can't
asking
I?
you nicely because there's a sign posted outside that you can't do that in here.
Why can't I record in here?
Who are you here to see, the county clerk?
I'm here to see the county clerk. I have business to conduct. I have to do a public records request.
Sean was adamant about not giving his address or any identification. The receptionist brought her supervisor, who did not want to be on tape at all.
So these are government buildings. Moving forward,
Yeah.
you need ID to get in government buildings.
Well, I don't need an ID to
Moving
pay for
forward.
this government building.
Sir,
Right?
as an officer, I can deny you to come into our government
That would be a very
building.
big mistake, though.
Sean raises a very valid point here. What's their response?
Our
That would be a
government
very
building.
big mistake, though. That would be a big mistake on your
Sir?
part. I'm telling you,
You
it
have
would.
nothing on you. Now,
I just want to make sure I get your name.
Officer Heitman.
Officer Heitman.
So now, if you fall down and get hurt and we have to put you in back of an ambulance, we don't know who you are. Nobody knows who you are. So that's for your safety.
No.
But let's get off
it's
of
not.
that.
It's not. It's not for your. It's not for my safety at all.
So what are we going to do here?
My name is not going to change me being hurt.
Do you have anything on you
I have.
that you can show us your name?
No,
So we can let you in.
I don't have anything with my name.
Okay.
I don't have it. I
Hold
want
on.
to.
Please just stay here.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Ridiculous.
That's one heck of a reason to take a civilian's ID.
All right, guys. Well, this is ridiculous.
Put that off.
I'm not turning anything off, ma'am.
You are turning it off.
I'm not turning it off, ma'am. We have freedom of press in this country, ma'am. And you should treat the public with more respect. And look, she says for me to turn off my camera. The biggest Hypocrites of them all. They're always recording us, but the minute we record them, it's an issue.
It really does feel nice when you give them a taste of their own medicine.
So I can't enter in a public building and conduct services without showing some sort of government ID. That sounds like Nazi Germany to me, not the United States of America. I'm a journalist. I go to buildings all over the country, and I've never been once denied access, public access to a building if I don't have.
This building requires ID.
On whose authority? On whose authority? On what policy? Or is it a law, or is it a policy?
It's the policy of this building.
I guess Sean was becoming a handful for them. So much so that the manager had to call her manager. But even she couldn't decide if it was a policy or a law to show ID before entering a public space.
No one should need to show their...
Unfortunately, this is the rule of the building. I mean, if you're a journalist...
Where is the rule? Where is the rule? Can I see the rule? Can you show me the policy? You're enforcing a policy you can't even show me.
There's a sign. So you can take that to please.
Where?
Please have picture ID ready to show the public safety.
Okay, but is that I understand that 100%. I just don't understand that's unconstitutional and unlawful. It's unlawful to require somebody to show an ID to enter in a building that I already paid for.
This head of security didn't want to show him the policy at all. Yeah, there's a sign. Must mean it's legit, right?
Hi, sir. How are you?
What's going on?
Can I just get your name and badge?
My name and badge?
Yeah.
Officer White.
You have to be outside though, because that's another rule. You cannot video or do anything inside
Ma'am,
the building.
we have freedom of press in this country.
Okay?
We have freedom of press in this country,
He
man.
has no ID. The signs are all over that say you need to have ID in order to come in the building, you need a license, this and the other thing. And that's what it is.
Hey, sir, can I just get your name and badge number too?
Ramos 4543.
Thank you, sir.
Eventually, the NCPD is called to try to figure things out.
I don't need an ID.
There's a whole policy that they got going on. So
They're not even showing me that policy. They're not showing me the policy.
They don't need to show you policy. They're letting you know what's going on right now. You see signs right here. It must show.
It's an sir,
building.
Sir, officer, it's an unconstitutional policy. You and your partner took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, and they're gonna have you on the trespass form. You could be getting arrested for trespass.
Okay, so are you going to give me a trespass? Am I being trespassed in the building?
We got a trespass form. You have to sign. That's it.
Okay, great. I'll do that. Yep.
Right, no problem.
So we'll go ahead and do that route. Big mistake. You guys are opening yourself up to civil litigation here.
Sean tried explaining to the officers what their lawful duties were, but they gave the signs more importance.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Hey, how you doing today, Sarge?
Good.
Can I just get your name?
Sure. Sergeant McCullough.
A bunch of patrol cars arrive at the scene, headed by Sergeant McDonald. Sean then explains the whole situation and the law to the sergeant, who looks like he knows what Sean was talking about.
Sergeant McDonald. I just got promoted?
No.
Oh, okay. I figured because you said officer. But
What's going on today?
Yeah, so I wanted to speak with you because I'm being trespassed from this building.
Okay.
I'm trying to conduct business. I'm a journalist. I'm trying to conduct business here by doing a Freedom of Information Act request.
Okay.
They're not allowing me in the building because I don't have government ID.
Okay.
That's unconstitutional. You can't require somebody to have ID and show ID to enter in a building. Okay. It's a building that's funded by the taxpayers. Right. You know, for security restrictions, if you want me to pass the mag, I can understand that. You know, you want to know my name, okay, but you shouldn't have to supply ID. Now I'm being trespassed. Okay. So I wanted a supervisor here just so that way, you know, you understood that I'm being trespassed from a public building because I will be pursuing. I just would like the trespass. I would like the trespass warning that your officer over here said he was going to give me.
You would like the trespass warning?
Yes, because I'm going to take that to court and fight it. Correct?
Well, what do you mean by you want the trespass warning?
Well, he said he was going to give me a trespass warning that if I ever came back here, I would be arrested.
They'd have to sign a form saying that
Yeah.
you're not allowed in the building.
You said they were going to do that, correct?
Yeah, I
okay.
spoke to them. They're trying to see if they get a form.
Okay, great.
I'm saying, like, is there any information that we can help you with?
No, just that. Other than that, and if you're okay with me being trespassed from the building, I mean, just wanted to speak to a supervisor regarding that.
I mean, I'm going to go speak to them.
Okay.
If you have anything else.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I spoke every time I come in contact with law enforcement. No,
okay.
First time here.
All right, so no issues in the past or
No,
anything.
no, no.
Sean was undoubtedly audacious. Instead of merely showing identification, he would want to use the trespass warning to bring the management to court. However, Sean's situation is more about making a statement.
Hey, sir, I don't think I just got your name and badge number. Hey, sir. Sir.
Check your camera.
Can I get your name and badge number? Check your camera. Is that your name? Check your camera.
This other officer was getting pissed off too.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, you went back on the line?
Yeah. Thank you. Where's the city clerk? I mean the county clerk?
They're gonna help you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
How can I help?
These moments serve as a stark warning of what can happen when those in authority don't think before they act. If you're interested in seeing more of these dramatic downfalls, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on all our latest content. This is Detective Mystery signing off.